goosebumps. There are no butterflies in this dude at all.
I'm just trying to give him the best show possible.
Off the backboard to Wemby!
Buddy pass, but I get him splashed till he hydrated.
Whoa, Trey Young! Gas up the plane, baby!
Squabble up, squabble up, squabble up, squabble up.
Welcome back to NBA Countdown, presented by DoorDash.
We're counting down to De'Aaron Fox's debut with the San Antonio Spurs. He was traded from the Kings this week, and always atop his list of where he wanted to go was to be paired alongside Victor Wembanyama. But there are going to be some adjustments. Even though this is the man that has the only 60-point game in the NBA this season, his teammates may need to learn a thing or two.
Being able to flip a play because I'm left-handed, I have certain strengths. CP or Devin or Keldon are all right-handed, they have certain strengths. It's something that you pretty much have to work on, and I got that experience, and that definitely will be a learning process, but I'm fine with it, and I think this group will be able to do it.
I don't think that's something that everyone thinks about. What adjustments does his teammates need to make? Because he's a lefty.
For some of us who love the basketball minutia, I'm like, he has a point. He has a point. I want you guys to look at this graphic. Our producer, Matt, we call Stat. He does a great job of digging in these numbers. He actually has a point, y'all. The San Antonio Spurs are 29th when it comes to drives going left. De'Aaron, he could fix a big part of that. He's third in the NBA in that category with the number of drives he attacks left. On top of that, 69% of his drives have gone that direction. So he can make a big dent just by showing up and existing. But there is an adjustment period where you realize, you know how it is, UD. Yeah. You literally get up and you're used to going to a point guard, so you're inbound and going this way. You're like, oh, hold on, I gotta go De'Aaron. It's gonna go this side.
Yeah, they gotta work out the kinks. It's gonna take some time.
First ever game in a matter of seconds here. It's time to get you out to Atlanta for tip-off. The one and only Mark Jones, take it away.
Welcome, everyone, to Atlanta, the epicenter and the cradle of the civil rights movement. Folks, this is the bastion of black excellence, home of the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King, John Lewis, Andrew Young, undaunted paragons of leadership. That is the backdrop for tonight's game as the Atlanta Hawks take on the San Antonio Spurs, the second meeting of the season between these two squads. Welcome, everyone, to NBA Courtside, presented by DoorDash. And the winds of change and trade have gusted through San Antonio. De'Aaron Fox, formerly of the Sacramento Kings, after 7 years, now facing an old foe, Trey Young, in a San Antonio Spurs uniform. One of the intriguing storylines tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, alongside Richard Jefferson. Lisa Salters joining us in just a few moments. Folks, as we celebrate Black History always, we have a very special show for you tonight. We have an all-black cast in front of the camera, behind the camera, some 50 people in all. A colorful collaboration of some of the most talented people in the business. And speaking of talent, Richard, let's start with this guy right here behind us, De'Aaron Fox, the newest member of the San Antonio Spurs. After 7 years in Sacramento, an all-star, he brings so much to the court for the Spurs.
He brings so much to the table, and what I'm still looking at is Wembanyama. Wembanyama changed the timeline for this franchise. They had to go get better players, and top of their list was De'Aaron Fox. He is Mr. Clutch. He plays with pace. He's going to open up the game for all of the people around him, including Wembanyama. But the thing that I like most is that they're able to keep their young core of Castle, Keldon Johnson, and Devin Vassell.
Lisa Salters, Fox, baseline to baseline, maybe the fastest player still in the NBA. Back over to you.
Hey, Mark. Well, De'Aaron Fox spoke to reporters for the first time since being traded after shoot-around this morning. He talked about being on the road with the Kings on Sunday in his hotel room in Oklahoma City playing a video game when he got the call from Kings team owner Vivek Ranadive letting him know that he had been traded. Fox said he's very happy to be with his young Spurs team and believes his fit with San Antonio will be spectacular. He said his ability to get into the paint, to collapse defenses, should take some of the pressure off of Victor Wembanyama. He said not a lot of guys come around like Wemby, and he considers it an honor, a unique opportunity to now be paired with the young French star. De'Aaron said Chris Paul has been helping him fast-track the learning curve that naturally comes with switching teams midseason. But he said for him tonight, it's going to be just about trying to get comfortable with the new play calls, the new terminology, and most importantly, he said, getting comfortable with his new teammates. Mark?
Yeah, Lisa told me earlier that he's never had a lob threat like Wemby before. Richard, let's switch gears, talk about the Atlanta Hawks. They snapped an 8-game losing streak 48 hours ago in Detroit. And as we take a look at tonight's big deal moment brought to you by Walmart, Trey Young leads the league in assists, and he's really trusting his teammates this year.
Trey Young has had an outstanding year. Yes, they haven't won as many games to get him into that All-Star game, but there is no doubt. Late in the game, Trey Young, he is the man, and he ended that losing streak while stepping over his opponent as well.
Trey Young, bona fide, qualified, certified, ice cold. We'll be back with the opening tip-off. It's the Spurs and Hawks on this special night in Atlanta.
NBA Courtside on ESPN is presented by Dash Pass, your door to all things basketball.
Waiting. Booyah! This is an appreciation of all black everything. Black excellence, if you will.
Mama, there goes that man.
Ladies, this is it. We are ready for the big show.
See, there's power in black journalists telling our stories.
One of the most ridiculous things I've heard is someone questioning the leadership of an African-American athlete by saying he isn't black enough.
This is an ode to the legends who came before.
I'm Greg Gumbel. This is television's most comprehensive full hour of sports news.
Welcome to another edition of Sports Center, everyone. I'm Robin Roberts.
Who kicked down doors with individuality and captivating personality.
I'm the man!
LeBron.
He's hotter than fish grease.
It's Lillard. He got the shot off!
Paving the way for the present.
We could be in store for an old-school defensive battle.
Nothing rallies people to the television sets and to the arenas like greatness.
And future.
What does it mean to you to inspire girls like me?
It is my duty, my responsibility to make sure that the door is standing open wide for you.
Tonight we're in Atlanta, a city that reminds us of the beauty of blackness at every turn. What better place to make Black history?
As we welcome you to NBA Wednesday, presented by State Farm. From Atlanta, where the Hawks host the Spurs, who come in 12th in the Western Conference. The Hawks at 9th in the East and trying to make a late climb here before the All-Star break. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Icy Hot. For the visitors tonight, the one that jumps off the page there for you is number 4, De'Aaron Fox, with Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul joining Fox in the backcourt. Vassell and Victor Wembanyama playing the 5 for San Antonio. Meanwhile, for the home crew tonight, here's what it looks like. Trey Young coming off that game winner he hit 48 hours ago. Reza Shea, Okongwu, Hunter back in the starting lineup after being very productive off the bench. And Dyson Daniels rounding out the starting 5 for Atlanta. Atlanta Hawks coming in with an overall record of 23-27, and of course the big challenge tonight, how do they handle Victor Wembanyama, who remains one of the most unique players in the entire world. Wemby continues to grow without those guardrails that the Spurs have put on him. Right now averaging about 25 a game to go along with 11 rebounds, Richard.
No, it's going to be impressive to watch just this unit come together. Look, I always talk about it's year 2 after the big trade. For this team, they have opportunity to get into the postseason. They definitely have an opportunity to get into that top 10 and get into that play-in situation. But ultimately, it takes time, and they have plenty of time and plenty of talent.
Let's see what the assimilation processes look like for number 4 in black and silver. De'Aaron Fox spent the first 7.5 years of his career in Sacramento with the Kings, an all-star a couple of seasons ago. And he'll bring it into the front court against one of the top on-ball defenders in the league, Dyson Daniels.